Coming up tonight, back-to-back murders. The country's murder counts climbing once again as a man is gunned down outside a nightclub in Abaco. Plus, a traffic fatality on Grand Bahama claiming the life of a 56-year-old man and leaving 2 others hospitalized. And later, Our News collaborating with Brief to share insight about the craft at this year's Young Reporters for the Environment workshop. These stories and so much more as Our News Weekend starts now. This is Our News Weekend. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. I'm Megan Shepard. The murder count for the country now stands at 40. This after a 37-year-old man was gunned down in Abaco in the early morning hours. Police tell us shortly after 1 a.m. today, officers arrived at a local night spot in Dundastown following reports of gunshots. There, they discovered a male inside a blue GMC Sierra truck suffering from apparent gunshot wounds. According to reports, the victim, along with 2 passengers, were attempting to leave the establishment when a lone gunman emerged from nearby bushes, approached the driver's side of the truck, and shot the victim multiple times. EMT examined the victim and determined that he showed no signs of life. Police are appealing to anyone with additional information that can help solve this matter to contact 919-911-CID at 502-9991 or the Marsh Harbor Police Station at 367-2560. Meantime, here in the capital, a brazen daylight shooting claimed the life of a 42-year-old man who was tragically killed while on the job. The WSC contractor was carrying out a leak repair when his life was unexpectedly cut short. Berthany McDermott has the details.
A man contracted by the Water and Sewage Corporation was shot and killed Friday afternoon while on the job. Police press liaison officer Chief Superintendent Chrislyn Skippings telling reporters police were called to Apache Alley off Camp Road after 4 p.m. Friday.
Officers responded, and upon their arrival, they discovered a male who was a subcontractor with the Water and Sewage Department with multiple gunshot injuries to the body. Information is that the victim was operating the tractor when he was approached by a masked male wearing dark clothing who approached him from the southern portion of Apache Road. He opened fire on him, shooting him multiple times.
Police say the 42-year-old man isn't known to police and is not a resident of the area. Officials from the Water and Sewage Corporation were also on scene. General Manager Robert Deal says the corporation is shaken by the sudden killing.
The contractor was a very diligent, very hard-working contractor, extremely reliable, someone that we could call upon day or night in an emergency, and he will come out on very short notice. He was a regular contractor of the corporation, so he's very well known to us, and this company has worked with us for many years, and so this is an extremely sad time for the corporation.
Deal says the team was carrying out a leak repair. As WLC repairmen are on the roads often carrying out repairs, this latest incident brought to light safety concerns.
Yes, safety remains a paramount concern to our staff, and so day and night, we want to ensure that our staff and our contractors, because the reality is our contractors are part of our larger family who work on a daily basis to ensure that we can maintain the level of services that our customers demand.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Berthany McDermott.
A 56-year-old man is dead and 2 other adults are hospitalized after a traffic incident shortly after midnight in 8 Mile Rock, Grand Bahama. According to reports, a blue Nissan Cube occupied by 3 men was traveling east on Bayshore Road when the driver reportedly lost control of the vehicle and collided into a utility pole. Both the driver and front seat passenger sustained injuries, while the rear seat passenger was ejected from the vehicle and suffered serious injuries. All occupants were taken to the hospital by ambulance. However, the rear seat passenger succumbed to his injuries shortly thereafter while receiving medical treatment. Now, there have been several other traffic accidents and fatalities in Grand Bahama for the year. In another recent major incident, a 1998 Hi-Ace bus and a 2011 Ford Fusion collided on Queens Highway. The driver of that bus died in hospital almost 2 weeks later, a shock for the entire Grand Bahama community. In a recent interview with Our News, officer in charge of the 8 Mile Rock Police Station, Assistant Superintendent Cordell Capron, addressed the issue of traffic fatalities and accidents on the island, and he had this bit of encouragement for road users.
We want to remind motorists that 8 Mile Rock is a residential area. Thus, the speed limit is 20 miles per hour. So we ask you to adhere to the road regulations and abide by the speed limits in this area.
Excellent reminder. Well, as we get closer to summer and what is projected to be an active hurricane season, Free National Movement leader Michael Pintard is doubting Bahamas Power and Light will be ready for the summer load. A BPL executive recently said the power company is racing to prepare its network for an up to 26 megawatt increase in New Providence during the peak of the summer demand. For the sake of residents and businesses, Pintard says he hopes there won't be a lot of interruptions.
If we all touch and agree and pray, they may be ready. However, looking at what is presently happening at BPL, we have doubts. We are hoping in the best interest of residents and the businesses that we do not have a lot of load shedding and power interruption. The government has to articulate an overall plan and vision for BPL. They have failed to do so.
In recent weeks, unions at BPL revealed the government seems to be getting into agreements that could possibly privatize BPL. The Prime Minister has denied that claim. Pintard says the Bahamian people need clarity from the Prime Minister.
Given the Minister of Energy's previous portfolio and failure to provide clarity, we are clear it's not going to come from that minister. But the Prime Minister is duty-bound to give clarity on what the plan is, both for BPL as well as for providing fuel, providing power to the cruise ships that's about to transition from them running their engine and powering themselves to taking fuel or power from a local entity.
The Department of Immigration in Grand Bahama, along with the Social Services Department, joining forces with the Royal Bahamas Police Force this week for a walkabout in the western end of the island. The walkabout is just one of many by law enforcement agencies in the past few weeks. Officer in charge of the Northern Region, Assistant Commissioner of Police Shanta Knowles, says the purpose is to listen to the concerns and needs of residents so that they can be addressed. Chief Immigration Officer Eugenia Poitier, in charge of Grand Bahamas Airport and Marinas, says this partnership will continue on the island.
The Immigration Department is not only concerned about the tourists that traverse our islands or Grand Bahama, but we're also interested in the community events that take place here. Sea Grape is one of the areas that have a diverse mixture of population, and we seek to keep in contact with them to stay alert as to what's going on. We know that internationally there are certain factors that are affecting the country, so we choose to partner with the police, partner with other agencies to ensure that we are on top of every situation that's going on, especially on the island of Grand Bahama.
Godfrey Fiok, case aide of the 8 Mile Rock Social Services Department, says they are aware of some of the needs in the community.
We notice that there are some things that have to be addressed, because we cannot cover every need within the community. But it's good to know that we have immigration, the police department. We also have urban renewal, you understand, who come as a corporate effort to meet the needs of the social ills within our community. And that's what we're all about. We're trying to build our community to be as strong and viable as possible, to create a healthy environment so that our persons within the community can feel safe, can feel secure, and to know that they have the support, of the government as a whole.
When Our News Weekend comes back from the break, a Family Island rollout. The top cop says the new ankle monitoring system is already being utilized throughout the family of islands. Plus, the former Prime Minister celebrates his annual birthday celebrations at Gambier Primary School. We'll tell you all about it when Our News Weekend returns.
Are you or a loved one under medical care? Do you need affordable medical supplies? Ports International is the largest home healthcare supplier. Medical supplies at the very best price. And you can even shop online. From hospital beds to wound care, wheelchairs to walkers, Ports is a one-stop shop for your medical supplies, and we accept insurance. We have online shopping and 2 locations to serve you, at the Airport Industrial Park and Shirley Street. We also ship to the Family Islands. Shop online and visit us on Facebook. Call Ports at 377-1771.
The transition of ankle monitoring responsibilities from Metro Security Solutions to Migrafil Electronic Security going smooth thus far. This according to Police Commissioner Clayton Fernander. Concerns raised by former Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis back in January about criminals removing their ankle monitors, sparking a back and forth between government and the opposition on the revoking of the contract from Metro Security. This resulting in government giving the company 30 days to provide an explanation for its performance. With no solution in sight, the contract was terminated. The commissioner says the transition has now begun in the Family Islands.
That process is going very smoothly. It started about 2 weeks ago. We have already started from the Southern Island, come right down, the changeover, and that is going well. The Family of Islands, we traveled there, we use the resources we have, our police plane, and we started from the south. Well, the islands are very small, not much individuals being monitored on the various Family Islands, but we started from the southern area and came right down, so that is going smoothly.
The commissioner also spoke to the advantage the new company has over the previous one.
Metro, they take the lead, and their responsibility is to reach out to the various. The various is the persons who are being monitored, and they will reach them. There's a location identified based on the area that they live in, and again, we want to thank the churches, because we are using even some of the church halls in different areas. Just say Camp Road. Everyone who lives in that area from Camp Road who is being monitored, we give them a time to go there, and then both teams will meet them there, and that's the switchover.
Well, Member of Parliament for Killarney and former Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis hosting his annual birthday party at Gambia Primary School yesterday. While he was born on April 16th, Dr. Minnis stopped by the school early for the festivities. Traditionally, Dr. Minnis reads a book to students, but this year he used the opportunity to share advice on the power of determination based off his latest book. He says spending time with the students brings him joy.
I've always thought it best to show my liking, my love for them by spending my birthday, especially with them. So I've always spent my birthday here at Gambia Primary with the children, so that they would realize how important they are to the future development of our country. And they enjoy it. They enjoy it. It's a learning experience for them. They get to understand. We speak a little about what's happening in the Bahamas, so they have a little understanding of what's going on.
And what's a birthday celebration without sweet treats?
Well, we normally would have sandwiches. They're bringing sandwiches from Wendy's. We always would have a birthday cake. We'd cut the birthday cake. Whoever, traditionally, there's a student who would share birthday with me. That child would always get first piece of cake. And as you know, there's a young man, his birthday is about the same time, so he'd get first piece.
Taking Bahamian cuisine to the world and sharing the stories of the Bahamas. Chef Simeon Hall Jr. is a self-proclaimed food ambassador, and that title holds as he continues to represent the country at food festivals across the United States. Most recently, Chef Hall took a team to one of the largest food festivals in the U.S., the South Beach Wine and Food Festival. Hall says they prepared to serve over 4,000 attendees at this year's Goya Grand Tasting.
I was very fortunate to be able to send them ahead to do most of the preparation, and so it was absolutely amazing. And then, you know, our event was on Saturday. It started at 12 p.m. sharp, and not Bahamian time, not island time, sharp, and we had to be ready, which we were. And we did a feature of our rotisserie ham sandwich, what we call a hamwich, which is going to be at the restaurant. And so that's what we featured. If you think about Boxing Day in the Bahamas is the day after Christmas, and the day after Christmas is when you have your leftover ham and you turn that into a sandwich. And so that was the inspiration of the hamwich.
Chef Hall says the Bahamas serves as his greatest muse when preparing his meals. During the event, he was able to share interesting facts about the country with those that have visited our shores in the past and with those that intend to.
A lot of people forget that the Bahamas was the first point of entry for everything that happened in terms of colonialism. And so I'm always happy to share that with people so that they understand that we are the godparents of the black food movement. You know, Seminole Indians, Gullah Geechee, all of those things we were able to talk about and connected to the food and why we did something like that. You know what I mean? We do a lot of hurricane cooking in the Bahamas. People don't know that, which is preserved food. And ham is a preserved food, something that doesn't need to be refrigerated. And so, you know, we tied all that in. And then on top of that, you could talk as much story as you want, but if it ain't taste good, ain't nobody check it.
The team, consisting of Chef Hall and chefs George, Quentin, and Tyler, also participated in the Charleston Wine and Food Festival. While this is Chef's third appearance at the event, he says it still remains a favorite, particularly with the shared heritage.
They're the only persons now to date outside of Africa that speak and talk our language. They cook our food and we're super connected to them. In fact, there's a Gullah Geechee connection and heritage in Andros Island that a lot of people don't know about. And I've been studying this sort of stuff for the last 15 years.
The team prepared dishes for the barbecue showdown and farming event.
One of the things that I liked was we did over the fire coconut jimmy with Benny seed ice cream. And to do ice cream in the middle of a farm ain't easy, but you know, we like a challenge.
Chef Hall says they're already booked to attend both festivals in 2025. Well, still to come on Our News Weekend Brief, hosting their annual Young Reporters for the Environment workshop. And this year, one of our very own was a guest speaker. Plus,
coming up in sports, a Bahamian minor leaguer hits his first home run of the season, and the finals have begun in the New Providence Basketball Association. Sports is next.
Welcome back. A Bahamian minor league prospect hits his first home run, and we recap Game 1 of the MPBA Finals. Tage Adderley is here with our Sports Weekend.
Thanks, Megan. Good evening. I'm Tage Adderley with the weekend edition of sports. BJ Murray started his season off in somewhat of a slump, but last night he showed why he's considered one of his organization's top prospects. Murray hit his home run on Friday night to help his Iowa Cubs get a 10-7 win over the St. Paul Saints, but he didn't hit it how you expected. Hitting from the left side of the plate, the third baseman smoked the line drive in the right center gap in the 8th inning. Cubs future star Owen Casey was able to score all the way from first base, and Murray was on his horse himself, touching all 4 bases, beating the throw home to get the home run. Hayden Wozniacki got the win on the mound in relief, taking over in the 4th inning, pitching 3 and striking out 4. All right, coming off that win, the Cubs have a break until Tuesday, and then they're back in action against the Louisville Bats. Now we're going to the hardwood, where the NPBA Finals began yesterday. The first game of the NPBA Division I Final went down last night in the Kendall J. Isaacs Gymnasium, with the Discount Liquors Rockets taking down the Commonwealth Bank Giants 95-92. Abel Joseph led the way for the Rockets with a near triple-double, scoring 25 points, 10 rebounds, and dishing out 9 assists. Roosevelt Wiley also had 25, and he pounded the glass to the tune of 16 rebounds. Dylan Musgrove led the way for the Giants with 19 points and 5 rebounds, and old dependable Michael Furley-Bain, he's still at it, ladies and gentlemen. He had 18.6 rebounds and 8 assists. Now those teams play again tomorrow night. Division II finals are going on right now, so get out there if you can. Before we go, Kai Jones is getting a fresh start on the West Coast. The 6'11" big man from New Providence signed a multi-year deal with the LA Clippers. The announcement was made earlier today. Now, details of the deal are mum at the time of this recording, but he is eligible to play immediately and will participate in this year's playoff run. Kai just came off a 10-day contract with the Philadelphia 76ers where he didn't play much, but his combination of run-jump athleticism and size are always at a premium in the NBA, and the Clippers are looking to make a deep run this year. The Clippers are a 4th seed, so they won't be in next week's play-in tournament. However, he and the Clippers will play the Mavericks once that wraps up. That is all we have for sports today. For Our News, I'm Tage Adderley.
Thanks so much, Tage. Still to come, a check on temperatures. On the other side of this break, meteorologist Ian McKenzie fills us in on your weekend temperatures. Stick with us. Welcome back. Nice weather and great temperatures on the outside of our studios today. Meteorologist Ian McKenzie joins us now from the Weather Center with your check on weather across the archipelago. Ian.
Thanks, Megan, and good evening, Bahamas. Welcome to your Saturday evening forecast. Another lovely day across the country. Outside our studios at this time, we're under mostly clear skies. Comfortable temperature 77, feels like 71. Winds are from the northeast at 15 miles per hour. Current temperatures across the country: Freeport, we have 74, also in Marsh Harbor, 75 in Allenstown, Bimini 77 in Nicholstown, Great Harbor Key, and in the capital, 76 in Governor's Harbor, Eleuthera. In the central Bahamas, 76 is continuing in Kemps Bay, Georgetown, Deadman's Key, Coburn Town, and in Arthurstown, Kidd Island. Southeast Bahamas, 78 is in Duncantown, Colonel Hill, 79 in Delectable Bay, Abrahams Bay, and 81 in Matutang and 80 in Providenciales, Turks and Caicos. First look now at our satellite and radar imagery. We have a few clouds. This is all associated with a weak frontal boundary that pushed through our area. This will continue to push southeastwards and exit the area. High pressure is expected to build in its wake and remain large and in charge throughout the week. Northwest Bahamas for boating. Small craft should use caution in those swells. Winds will be northeasterly 15, north seas 3 to 5, but up to 6 feet offshore. High tide at 12:51 a.m. tomorrow morning. Low tide at 7:26 a.m. tomorrow morning. For the central and southeast Bahamas, we have an advisory in effect due to those swells, mainly along Atlantic exposures. Winds will be northeast 15 to 20, gusting higher at times, seas 4 to 6, but up to 8 feet offshore. In your extended forecast, expect comfortable, mostly sunny conditions to persist. The winds will continue to persist into about midweek and then eventually die off. You can expect a frontal boundary into the area by Saturday. That should bump up rain chances then. Elsewhere, we're looking at those highs in the upper 70s, low 80s, and then bumping way up into the mid to upper 80s by the end of the week. Low temperatures, upper 60s, low 70s. That's a wrap in the evening forecast. Make it a great, safe, fun night, everyone.
Well, the Our News team was busy recently sharing journalism tips with some young budding journalists. Our J. Willem Joseph tells you more about our involvement with the Bahamas Reef Environment Education Foundation's Young Reporters for the Environment workshop.
We're here today with the Bahamas Reef Environment Educational Foundation as they help to train the next generation of journalists. Every day, the Our News team suits up, ready to tell the stories that shape the country. But recently, our Marlena Leonard shared stories of a different kind, taking some time out to share journalism tips with over 30 young aspiring journalists attending the Bahamas Reef Environment Educational Foundation's annual Young Reporters for the Environment workshop. Brief Communications Officer Crystal Darling Sargent says the annual workshop helps Brief prepare potential entrants for the Young Reporters for the Environment competition, which closes April 14th. While shaping the future of environmental journalism in the Bahamas.
The three main categories that students can enter in is video, which is related to broadcasting. So we had Marlena Leonard come in and talk about how to shape or craft your video entry story. And we also focused on writing. I spoke a little bit about writing because of my background in journalism. And we also had Marley J, because photography is another category that you can enter in. And Marley spoke about photography and different camera angles to help students sharpen their skills in preparation for the competition.
Lauren Scriven, an 11th grade Lyford Key International School student, says her eyes are open to a world of possible ways she can start changing the world around her.
I can even just start in my school. Maybe I'll start a blog. Maybe I'll add something to our school newsletter to try to, inform more children at my school about this, because I want to see more of us here, So I think they'd like it, and I think that, storytelling would be a really good way to get more of them involved.
Marlena's presentation centered on crafting compelling narratives and best practices for using sources, among other things. She says she's eager to see what the next generation of journalists can accomplish.
I don't think the kids even need more encouragement to care about the environment. I think the youth already do care about it. I think as journalists, what we need to do is, play more of a mentorship role. They want to try to help. So having more opportunities for young kids to come in and say, hey, do you want to shadow me? Do programs like this where you're getting them involved. They really just want a chance to try it for themselves. You don't have to convince them to care. And I think that's what's great about the next generation.
The Young Reporters for the Environment competition is now open for entries and closes April 14th. Visit Brief's website for more information on eligibility and entry guidelines. Reporting for Our News, I'm J. Willem Joseph.
Thanks so much, Jean, and thank you for joining us for Our News Weekend. On behalf of the entire team, I'm Megan Shepard. Have a safe and wonderful evening.